All right, this is the beginning of a new chapter, chapter 9, on geometry. And this is lesson 1, area of a parallelogram. Our learning target is to be able to find areas and the missing dimensions of parallelograms. So the first and most important thing is that we have a formula, and we need to know the formula. It's a simple formula right here. The area of a parallelogram is equal to the base times the height. Once you know the base, once you know the height, you are good to go. Now, the base can be this one or this one. Those could be bases. And then to get the height, you want to go from this to here, making sure that it's a straight line that forms a right angle. And then whatever that is your height. Okay? So, we could actually, if we wanted to make the other ones the bases, say, for example, we want to do this as a base, or this as a base, then we would just have to go like this and make sure that's a right angle from here to here. And then that would be the height. But we'll go with what it has. So you have your base and your height. Once you have your base and your height, you multiply those together and you get your area. Let's do some examples. Example number 1. On this one, this is my base. My height is right here. From this to this, and it forms a right angle, so that's my height. There's my base. I count the units. The units for the base is 6. Units all the way for the height is 8. 6 times 8 is 48. So my area is 48 units squared. And you would say it's squared because you're talking about the square units within the parallelogram. That's why it's always squared. That's how many squares are there. Okay? So let's go to the next page. Find the area of the parallelogram. And this one, again, we remember our formula. Area equals base times height. You know the base is here. It's 20. Oops, there we go. It's 20. And we could have gone this way, as long as that forms a right angle. That could be our height. Or they decided to go out a little bit here and then up, just so it forms a right angle. And that gave us the height of 11. So it's 20 times 11. You multiply those together, you get 220. And it's centimeters squared. So 220. Okay, let's see if we've got it. Let's do these two. So I'm going to remember my formula. Area equals base times height. My base on this one is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 times my height is 1, 2, 3. 6 times 3 is going to be 18. Oops. It's going to be 18, and it's units squared. Okay, now look at B. It's kind of a goofy little thing, but we know the base is 4. We know the height is 16, so it's 4 times 16. And when you do 4 times 16, you get 64. This time it's meters, and it's squared because it's how many squares go in the middle. It's the area. Okay, now, because we know the formula, A equals base times height, we can figure out a missing dimension. Maybe we know the area, like in this example here. We know the area, we know the base, we just don't know the height. So here's a question mark. So the way you do that is you put in your area, which is 45, you put in your base, which is 9, and then your h, which you don't know. So it's a variable. 9 times h, which is 9h, equals 45. We want to get the height, or the h, all by itself, so we divide each side by 9. When we do that, we get h equals 5. And so the height is 5 inches. Okay, I'm going to plug that in, and I can check it by saying base times height needs to equal area. 9 times 5 is 45. Perfect. Okay. Let's do the you got it. we'll start with C. We know the area on this one. Area equals base times height. We know the area is 48 equals, we don't know the base, but we do know the height. So I'm going to put B down there for base times 6. Now, I just want to get this B all by itself. So I'm going to divide each side by 6. When I do that, I get B over here. 48 divided by 6 is 8. So the base is 8 meters. Okay, 8 meters. Now, let's look at this next one over here. D. Again, area equals base times height. What do I know here? I know my area, 96 equals, do I know my base? No, but I know my height. My height is 8 yards. Okay, so it's 96 equals B times 8. I want to get this B all by itself, so I'm going to get rid of the 8 on each side. That becomes just B. 96 divided by 8 equals 12. And we're talking about yards. So it's 12 yards. Okay. Then we have one more example here. Yeah, we have someone doing a flag. And what it's asking for us to figure out the area of the black stripe. So we want to know the area of just this thing right here. It's a parallelogram, so all we have to do is figure out the base and the height, and that'll give us our area. The base is the 6 3/4 inch, and the height is from this point to this point. And what they did is they went out and up, and so to get from here to here, they have it figured as 12. So it's 6 3/4 times 12, base times height. When you do that, you get an area of 81, and we're talking about inches, so it's 81 square inches, or 81 inches squared. Okay? Let's go on and do a couple of the guided problems. So here we have the guided math, and you could try these on your own before you watch the video, or you can just kind of watch me and we'll go through them together. Okay? I'm going to make it really big. Okay. We know that the area equals base times height. So once I figure out the base and the height, I can get the area easy. I'm going to say this is my base. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So base is 6 times my height, 1, 2. And 6 times 2 is 12 units squared. Over here. Now we don't have to count squares, they've given us the base and the height. They've given us the base of 10 and the height of 5, and it's feet. So area equals 10 times 5. And 10 times 5 is 50, and it's feet squared. 50 feet squared. Okay, this one. We have the base. We have the height over here, because this line right here is from here to here, okay, forming a right angle. This number right here, it's a slant. It's not the base nor the height. We don't need it, okay? It's not going to help us right now. All we need is the base and the height. So 11 times 7, that's going to equal my area, and 11 times 7 is 77 meters squared. All right. Now 4 and 5. 4 and 5. 4 is where we have to find a missing something, and 5 is where we find the area. So let's do 4. Find the height. Oh, so we're missing the height. Area equals base times height. So this is what we're going to be looking for. So we must have the area and the base. Let's read on. If its base is 35 centimeters, so we do have that, and its area is 700, okay, and then we just are missing the h. The way to get rid of this 35 so I can know my h, divide each side by 35, When I do that, I get h equals, and on the calculator, if you want to type in 700 divided by 35, you are going to get, let's see here, you are going to get 20, and it is 20 centimeters. So for this one, you're looking at 20 centimeters. Now, if I want to check it, I could do the area equals the base times height. If I think this is the height, and I know my base is 35, 35 times 20 gets me 700, which is what they told me the area is. So we're good. All right, one last one. Maybe you want to pause right now and just do it on your own, and then come back and see if you get the same thing I did. Okay, let's do number 5. I see that we have the base here. I see that we have a height over here from this line to this line is represented here. It's not here because there's no right angle. Okay, this number we don't need. But this has a right angle from here to here. Okay, so it's 5.1. So my base, area equals base times height, area equals 2.6 times 5.1. And when you do that on your calculator, you're going to get 13.26, and we're talking centimeters, and it's squares inside, so it's 13.26 squared centimeters. 13.26 centimeters squared. Okay? All right, and now rate yourself. How confident are you about the area parallelograms? Hopefully you're right here. Maybe you're right here. If you're anywhere else, please ask me so I can help you and help you to figure this out before you go on to the independent practice.